without further ado, anyone want to talk about social media? All right. How about marketing social media more importantly? Okay. I'm Chris DeMayo. I lead the strategy, the marketing and business development teams at EZMarketing. Okay. I want to say special thank you to Kelly Hoffman. Kelly introduced herself with the team, and thank you to all my team, but extra special thanks to Kelly, who makes all these events possible. She's the one who toils over the slides, makes sure the content is good, make sure everyone gets invited, make sure things go smoothly. So, Kelly, if I don't tell you enough, greatly appreciated. We couldn't function at EZMarketing without you. Thank you. We also have Danielle, our marketing coordinator, who again keeps the wheels on the bus for many things, including keeping me in line. Imagine that task. Also, freshly back from maternity leave, brand new mother. You've been back how many days? Day 5. Welcome back. Here we go. Okay. Couple housekeeping items. Everyone should have a packet. Does everyone have a packet? If everyone but Jason got a packet, could we get him one? Jason, that was kind of by design. Okay. But inside your packet, there are a couple things, and I guess I should have had one to go over it. It is a propaganda letter from us. Oh, thank you, Deb. Propaganda letter from us, welcome you to the seminar. There is a questionnaire. We are genuinely interested in making this a valuable experience. We're genuinely interested in your feedback. We'd like to know if there's other topics you'd like to see or hear about. So if you could at the end, please fill this out and turn it into our staff. We promise we take all the information in the spirit in which it's intended. We have, again, a little more propaganda about why work with us, our proven process. There's also a note sheet. One of the things that we do encourage is notes. Feel free. Slides and the whole presentation will be available afterwards, but you're welcome to go through it as we go. There's also a template for content. There's also a template for a content calendar for social media strategy, social media marketing. So feel free to use all these. They're good information. It's good information. Again, survey. At the end, too, there'll be a door prize. If you've not thrown your business card in, we're going to give away valuable prizes. It's a Yeti cooler, Yeti mug tumbler, okay? Good stuff. And again, the recording and slides will be sent to you. Just please make sure we have your email address so we know where to send them. Quickly, Easy Solution is our parent company. EZMarketing is a division. It's one of 2 divisions that Easy Solution owns. EZMarketing, can you guys guess what we do? We handle marketing. We're a full-service agency. We do everything from building websites to marketing websites to helping you build your brand, help with emails, just anything marketing related. Easy Computer Solution is our IT division. We make sure to keep your networks up and running. What we're going to talk about today. I think we've got competing clickers. Don't worry about it if it's going to keep doing that. We're really high tech here, so we have my note presentation on one advanced unit, and then we have this on another, and we've just learned they compete with each other, so we'll be okay. What we're going to learn about today. Why is social media marketing important to your business? If I can ask, how many people are using social media to market their business right now today? Almost everyone. Do you want to be brave? Anyone who's not? Okay, good. Well, there's hope for us all. Good. The second thing is, how do you plan a social media strategy? There are many people that use social media for marketing, but I have to tell you, there are not many that do it well, or do it to the best of their ability, or couldn't use some improvement. And I'm sorry, I'm going to stay on this side. If I'm blocking and you guys feel the need to move, go ahead. Otherwise, sorry. I jumped. Tips to choose the right social media platforms. How do you know which social media to use? We're going to talk about best practices for creating great social media campaigns. Keep in mind, too, social media is not something you just do. It's something you try and do strategically. It's something you try and do with a campaign in mind, something you want to do where you have goals in mind. Oh, I keep doing that. How to put together a social media campaign, how to track and measure social media. Keep in mind, too, everything you do in marketing, you should track. If you don't know what the result is, how do you know where you can improve? And the future of social media. Where is it going? Where is it now? Where was it? Where will it be a couple years from now? Can I make one request? I'm really hot. Is anyone else hot in here? Can we turn up the AC if we can grab Chris or Sarah or someone on the team? let's just take a step back for a minute. What is social media marketing? Too many people have a hang up about social media. Or they get hung up because, look, I'm in my 40s, I'm in my 50s. I didn't grow up with this stuff like the kids did. And I don't mean to be demeaning when I say the kids, but people that are in their 20s and 30s, you guys grew up with this, you're on it a lot more, probably, okay? Bottom line is, it's still marketing. And don't let what you don't know stand in the way of what you do know. Many of us know marketing. We've known marketing for decades. It hasn't changed, okay? Marketing is still very simply, it's the right message to the right people at the right time. It's telling the proper story to the proper audience. Same. Tested over time, we'll continue to do that. The difference is now we're just using the best tool we have available to us to get that message out to the right audience, okay? When you talk about social media, think about delivering that message through conversation. Think about delivering that message through building a relationship. Think about delivering that message through engagement. It's not just you talking and hoping people hear, it's drawing people in so that it's conversational, so that it's give and take, okay? Does that make sense? And you talk about social media marketing, very simply, building relationships with the right people by engaging them at the right time with meaningful conversations, okay? It's just a great way to tell your story, and it's a great way to tell this story to the masses. And we're going to talk about that more in a minute. Why is social media marketing important? Right now today, there are 3.5 billion active social media users in the world. That's 77% of the US. Nothing against other forms of media, nothing against other forms of advertising, but how many of them can reach 3.5 billion people? 77% of the population in the US. And 30% of all time spent online is spent on social media sites. This is where people are spending their time. This is where they live. And lastly, 90% of US businesses use social media for marketing. So and that's probably true with this room. 90% of businesses are doing social media. What percentage do you think are doing it well? There's certain percentage that do it great, certain percentages that don't do it at all, certain percent do it halfway. You don't have to be the best at social media, but what do you have to be better than? The competitors. And how do you know if you're doing it better than the competitors? How many people in here follow a competitor's website or follow their social media? Great, brilliant. How many of you don't? And the question is, why don't you, and when will you start? Benefits of social media marketing. To build your brand. Let people know who you are. Let people know what you're doing. Let people know what you're all about. Engagement. Draw them in. Have them become part of your culture. Have your culture become part of them. Authority and thought leadership. One of the things we're big about is you've got to let everyone know that you're the subject matter expert. You're the people that can help solve problems. You're the people that understand what your clients' pain points are. And you're the people that can help solve them. Brand loyalty. You want to try and build brand evangelists. Converting customers. You take people that are following you, people that are paying attention to you, and suddenly become people that are willing to spend money with you. Customer service and content marketing and SEO. Social media does not directly affect SEO, but it does help drive people to your website. It does help bring people in. It helps you tell your story. Uses of social media. And before we start, and I'm going to ask again for bravery, for a show of hands, how many people in here have a boss? Does anyone in here have a boss? I do. All right. How many of your bosses kind of look like they smelled something bad when you talk about using social media to market your business? Big show of hands. Okay. We want to be respectful to the boss. All right, always. But trust me when I tell you that the people that are poo-pooing social media, and that's an actual marketing term too, poo-pooing. People that are poo-pooing social media are missing the boat. What would happen, just per se, if you knew what kept your customers up at night? What would happen, or how much would it affect your business if you knew what your competition was doing, what they were offering, what their marketing looked like, what their advertising looked like, what their people were listening to, watching, pay attention to? Would anyone here agree that that would help your business potentially? That's what we want to do with social media if you do it well. Where does social media start in terms of social media for business? It starts with listening, okay? The idea of social listening is find out what areas your clients are going to. Find out what the competition's posting. Find out what their pain points are. See where they're going to get help. Listen to what they're saying. And again, listening is identifying pain points, doing research on the competition, studying customer service. Then we start with get the information you learn from there and talk about social influencing. Influencing is you're trying to build brand awareness. You're trying to develop thought leadership. You're building authority in the industry. Then we go to networking, your relationship building. You're using influencers. Do we know what influencer marketing is? That's where you focus on someone of influence. And we'll talk about it a little bit more later. My daughter is going to be 14 in a couple weeks. Big into the color palettes for makeup, and she follows James Charles. Does anyone do that in here? Am I speaking a foreign language? So anything James Charles puts out or anything James Charles does, she's paying attention to. He's a social influencer because he says this is good makeup, she's going to buy it, okay? Also, you get to a point too, social selling. That's where you can do prospecting, you can do lead gen, you can start to do ads and retargeting. Okay, let's talk about, now we know what social media is, let's talk about creating a strategy, okay? When you start any strategy, what do you start with? Goals. What am I looking for in outcome? How do you know if you've been successful or not? How do you know if you've met your objective without goals? And goals, has anyone ever heard this before? SMART goals? SMART goals are smart, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And what we mean by that is when you set out with a goal, don't just say, I want to increase brand awareness. Pro tip, those are the kind of things that makes the boss go poo-poo, okay? Talk to the boss about things that are measurable. Talk about things that are a little more tangible. And that would mean, instead of just saying, I want to increase brand awareness, I want to get X page followers and achieve X average reach per post by the end of 2019. That's measurable. This way you can tell if it was successful or not. Another example would be, don't say I want to get more leads. I want to increase landing page form fills from social media by X% in the third quarter. These are things that are more SMART specific. These are things that keep the boss from saying poo-poo, okay? Start with strategy. What do you have to do? Besides having goals, you need to know your audience. What does your audience care about? What are they talking about? Where are they spending their time? Who or what do they follow? How do you find these things out? I'll give you a hint. There's a hint on the screen. Anybody? How do you find things out? If you want to know what keeps people up at night, if you want to know what people think, what should you do? Listen. And social media gives you the best opportunity available to listen to the masses and listen objectively. Listen without you slanting the conversation. When we talk about listening, we talk about two things. We talk about monitoring conversations and we talk about analyzing the information, okay? Why do we say that? What good is listening if you don't do anything with what you hear? What I mean by that is listening. You're looking for customer feedback. You're looking for your brand to be mentioned. You're looking for product mentions. See what people are interested in. You're looking for relevant keywords, relevant topics. You're looking to see what your competitors are doing. Then take that information and respond to comments. You identify pain points and build plans around the pain. You find influencers and advocates. See who's someone in authority. Engage with them if possible. See if you can get them to endorse your product. See if you can get them to follow you. See if you can get them to comment on your social media sites. And ideally, too, discover new leads. See who's out there, see who's looking for things, see if you can be the one to solve their problems. Also, we talked about it briefly, know your competition. Again, who are the people studying the competition right now? We had a couple people. Great job. If we do one thing today, if we learn one thing, how about this? Follow a competitor's website. Again, if we say, look, we'd love to know what keeps our customers up at night, how'd you like to know what your competition is doing to try and help those customers sleep at night? So know the competition and look at them. Be objective. How often do they post? What are their best posts? Are they running ads? And how much engagement are they actually getting? How many people are following them? How many people like them? How many people are doing different things? The bottom line is, you don't have to be better than everyone in the world. What's the one thing you have to be better than? Yourselves and the competition. Be just a little bit better than the next guy. There's no better way than to have your competition tell you exactly what they're doing, and it's so simple for you to find out right now. Now, conversely, what could they be doing? Yeah, but you know what you have to do? Just keep being better. Keep doing a little bit more. Pay attention a little bit more. Be a little better. Be a little sharper. Do things that just go a little bit deeper to solving the root cause of your client's problems or concerns. Also, know your brand. Know who you are. And have a mission when you're talking about social media, you're talking about posting, you're talking about doing things. And what I mean by that is in a mission. Is the mission to help educate? Is the mission to inform? Is the mission to engage? Okay? When we talk about a brand, is everyone familiar with Wendy's? Wendy's brand, how would you define it? How would you describe it? Anybody want to take a stab? Snarky. Might be a little snarky.
I think their online presence is really playful.
It's playful? Good. What else? Witty, quick. Who are they targeting? Trolls? All right. Good. Who else? Families? Younger people? You know, that's one thing. Wendy's is working hard to get the millennial market. That's a big deal. That's maybe why they're looking at being witty, trendy, a little snarky, a little edgy, I'll call them. Big, fat, old guys like me are going to eat burgers no matter what. All right? They're trying to get the next – Kelly's like, yeah, Chris, you're right. They're trying to get the next generation. And a couple things that they do, the iceberg that sank the Titanic was frozen too. What is that going after? Fresh, not frozen. Because what's going to happen if you eat a frozen burger? Your ship is going to sink. No doubt. It's a proven fact. Okay, so they go after fresh, not frozen. Also, don't know if you can read this or not. Again, a little snarky. Here's someone that wrote into Wendy's. Okay, I want Wendy's, but my girlfriend wants McDonald's. What do I do? Now, what would be a reasonable reply, a non-snarky reply? Oh, well, take care of your girlfriend. Get her whatever she wants. You know, the thing that we really would do. What was Wendy's reply? There's plenty of fish in the sea. She doesn't want Wendy's. Get another one. Okay.
Did they do something where a guy got so many followers they gave him free nuggets? Or something like
Yeah.
that? Whatever. Well, I forget her.
Free.
He was trying to get somebody Twitter retweet. That's what it was.
Right. Yeah. They were using influencer marketing, and with a normal person. I'll tell you a story. Influencer marketing that didn't go as planned. Good friend of mine just bought a new Honda. Actually, is about to buy a new Honda Odyssey. And he wrote to Honda and sent a video in where his son just went off to college, brand new Honda Odyssey, and he showed a clip of the day he and his wife brought their son home from the hospital. So here's Nate Stuckey coming home from the hospital. Jim Stuckey sends his clip in. He's an engineer by vocation, works at LCBC, good guy in communications. And then here it is. Now we're loading him in the van, we're taking him off to college. He sends us into Honda. Now what's he thinking? They're going to use this commercial, and what's going to happen? New van. Oh, they're going to give me a new van. Can't wait. It's going to be great. So he does hear back from them, and he actually got one of the VPs from Honda Odyssey got on the phone. And you know what they said to him? Thank you very much. And what did they send him? Was it a new van? Nope, it was a water bottle that said Honda. Okay, so it doesn't always go the way you want it to, but it's a good demonstration of that they are listening, they are paying attention, and they did respond. Not exactly the way he wanted it, but it would have been a better story had he gotten a new van. But I tell him he got what he deserved. Okay? Also, part of his strategy, build a content calendar. Okay? We're going to talk a little bit about things you should post and good rules of thumb, but a content calendar, when I tell you, will help you tremendously. Okay? Because it will let you know exactly when you're going to post this, what it's going to be, how often you're posting things. Who has a good content calendar right now when they post? We do. Good job, Danielle. Danielle and Kelly put it together. Yes, you do. Okay? Anyone else? If you don't, you do good. If you don't, you need to. Otherwise, what happens? It's just random. And what do you think you're doing? I'm posting all the time. You don't understand how often I post. You might be, but you might not be. It might not be as steady as you'd like it to be. David?
Do you have a template of a content calendar you can share?
If I did, would it make your day?
That would help.
I do. Actually, Kelly does, and we're going to get to it. It's number one, it's in your packet, a printed version, and we have an online version available for you as well, because we thought it'd be helpful also.
Any concern with losing the sense of timeliness when you plan like a month ahead?
Could be, and I'll say this. A content calendar is a wonderful thing, but you do still need to adapt to market conditions, to things happening. If you post a content calendar and then the whole world blows up and suddenly there's a more relevant topic, you have to understand you should not, and this is, you heard it here today, you should not chisel this content calendar in stone. All right? It should be on something that you can adjust and pivot. But great point. We like to say, if possible, do a content calendar a quarter out and adjust accordingly. You've got to be flexible. And you can't just set it and say, here it is, it's just going to go, and you've got to take a look at it from time to time. Great point, and David, great point to you. So use it, but understand it's not set in stone. You're still the boss. You still get to control what goes out when. But again, we're sure that if you have this, it will help with you mixing up the type of posts. It will help you with a clear strategy. It will make sure you're following the right path, the right direction, and it eliminates, crap, did I post this week or not? Okay, you know whether you did or not. And it's also, when you only have 10 minutes, you don't have to, at that 10-minute point, try and scribble something, put it together, and get it out there. Now you know what it's going to be. You'll sleep better at night, too. We promise you'll sleep better at night with a content calendar. All right? No, we don't really promise. We think you will. All right? When we talk about a strategy and what to post, when to post, one of the things we want to talk about is the rule of thirds. When you're posting, we strongly suggest that a third of what you post should be sharing. And sharing means sharing resources, sharing tips, industry news. It shouldn't just be in your face, buy my stuff. It should be, look, we're in the same type of business. Or, hey, look, we live in the world too. We understand what you're going through. Here's some things you might find helpful. Why are we saying share resources and information? Say it again, I'm sorry. It's how you become a thought leader. It's also saying, look, listen to us. It's okay. I'm not just trying to jam something down your throat. I'm saying, listen, engage. We're trying to engage. We're trying to say, we're okay people. You can follow us, and it's safe. Okay? The second thing is interaction. We want to engage with the audience. We want it to be give and take. We want it to be back and forth. We don't want it to be someone just standing on a box with a megaphone shouting. Okay? I like doing that. All right? But it's not necessarily what's best for social media. Okay? And lastly, it's okay to promote. It's okay to let people know this is what's great about our brand. Here's the kind of products we offer. Here's the kind of services we do. But when do you do that? After I've gained your trust, after I've engaged, after I've shown you that I'm worthy of asking for your business or asking you to follow me. First earn it, then ask for it. If you ask for it before you earn it, what's going to happen? You turn people off. Does anyone in here love to be sold? Very few people do. Does anyone in here like to buy? Everybody likes to buy. Some people do it faster than others. Some people like to buy by being in the mall for several hours or shopping online forever. Some people get, Jason, you're an in-and-out guy. Let's go, let's get our shirts and get done. But everybody likes to buy. No one likes to be sold, or most people don't like to be sold. Rule of thirds. And when you have the rule of thirds, what do you get? A balanced message that people want to hear. A balanced message that people will listen to more than once, and a balanced message that people just might share. Optimize social profiles. What do you optimize? You optimize your name, making sure your name is right. You have complete contact information. Make sure your logo looks good. Make sure it's correct. This is where you don't want to say, good enough. This is where you want to have things right. Optimize your about us. Make sure people know what it is you do, what's different about you, what's important about you, things you should know. Optimize your vanity URL, meaning what's important about you, what you want everyone to know. And make sure you optimize keywords. If people are searching, people are looking, keywords still do matter. We're going to talk about SEO in a few weeks. Hopefully we can all make it there. We'll go a lot more into detail on that. But keywords still matter. They're not everything. They're part, though, of a good strategy, including a good strategy for social media. One thing we talk about, we use analogies in marketing. We use analogies at EZMarketing. I'm an old guy. I use a lot of analogies. We talk about social media as two things. It's either your second home. What would be your primary home? Your website. And it's where you show your heart. Your website is where you show your brain. Social media is where you show your heart. Social media is where you show people, you know what, we're a lot like you. Hey, you know what, we're doing good things in the community. Hey, you know what, we care about this too. You know what, we're trying to help educate you. You know what, we are trying to make Lancaster County, York County, wherever it is you're from, we're trying to make it a better place. Again, that's where you show your heart. Now, so we understand it. Talk about choosing different platforms. Before I get there, who here uses, for those of us using social media to market, who uses Facebook? Okay, good. Just about everybody. Why would you use that one? Yeah. Who doesn't use Facebook? And who's using Facebook more and more? Yeah, older generation's changing. Someday you'll be part of it. All right, you're right on the cusp. All right, but everybody uses Facebook, and who uses Facebook too? People with money, people that have things to spend. Not to say other people don't have money, but that's where the money is. Okay, who uses LinkedIn? Awesome. What are you trying to do with LinkedIn? Who uses LinkedIn? Yeah, us. Okay. How about Twitter? Instagram? Okay. Google My Business? Good. All right, so we've got it varied. But we talk a lot about Facebook because Facebook's the money. All right, you'll hear me say that. Has anyone in here ever heard me say that before? Anyone who's a client or has ever met with me, oh, Facebook's the money. Okay. You know why? Because Facebook's the money. Okay. Questions asked before you get started. Which platform should you use? And here's the thing. One isn't right, one isn't wrong, one isn't great, one isn't bad. What's better for you? Who are you trying to reach? Are you trying to reach business to business? Are you trying to reach business to consumer? Who's your target audience? What's their demographic? What are they interested in? What are their pain points? How do they get their information? In what format are you going to use to relay that information? We're going to talk about video in a minute. Chip gets excited. Chip owns a video production company. How important is video in social media nowadays? How important is video in marketing nowadays? How much more engaged are people in video than in anything else? How many people use video properly? Chip?
Not as many as you think.
Not nearly enough, okay? And I agree with you, 100%, okay? What are social media goals? Okay, we're going to set this up. What are the goals? What do we want to accomplish? Are we trying to increase awareness? Are we looking to sell things? Are we looking to educate the audience? Are we looking to et cetera? Okay? What resources, what budget do you have to do this? Do you have an advertising budget? Do you have a content production team? Or what types of content are you going to use? All this go into building a strategy, and these are things you need to ask yourself before you get started. Here is one place, too, where Those of us in the room more inclined to myself, where my thing is, tell me if this is you or not. Ready, shoot, aim. All right? This is where you have people like Kelly and Danielle that say, Chris, whoa, all right, here's how we're going to do it. And I go, okay, you're right, okay? But this is where you want to make the plan, okay? And have a concerted plan, know where you're going before you get started, and know what you want the end result to be. Most popular platforms, and we'll cover these more in depth. Facebook, 2.2 billion users. YouTube, 1.9 billion. WhatsApp, 1.5 billion across the country. Facebook Messenger, and so on. We'll go into more specifics. But here's the thing. You can't be good at everything. You can't invest all your resources in every platform. I am now giving you permission to say, it's okay if, number one, I don't know everything. And I'm also giving you permission to say, it's okay if I can't do everything. Is that a relief? Were you guys waiting for me to say that? Sure. Just focus on one or two. And I'm going to say this, start with one. Get one good platform and learn to be good at that. Once you've got that mastered, and you feel you're good and you're not going to distract from that one that's working well, then maybe move on to another. But start with one. Is that fair? And again, if we take away nothing else, let's focus on two things. Let's be a little better than the competition, and let's focus on one social media platform and get good at it. And by get good at it, either you help instruct your team working on it, you yourself get a little bit more knowledgeable. You yourself hire a marketing company to come in and help you. You hire someone to do it. But whatever way, whatever means you have available, just get a little better at one thing. I promise you it's going to make a difference. It's going to help move the needle. Let's start with Facebook. Facebook, monthly active users. A mere 2.2 billion active users every month. What about Facebook? Tell me what happens on Facebook. It's where the money is, okay? Demographics, 47% male, 53% female. Females still dominate a little bit more in Facebook, a little bit more in social media in general, I would say, with one exception maybe. We'll get to that. And it's all ages, 18 to 64, but 30% are between 25 to 34, okay? It's best for B2C. It does have a lot of uses for B2B, and I'm going to say anyone who's poo-pooing Facebook for B2B, you're missing the boat. Facebook is powerful for B2B if you do it right. Any industry, but especially the fashion industry, the auto industry, anything with e-commerce, consumer goods, and travel. Pros, it is the largest social network, bar none. What happened recently to Facebook, and how many users did they lose? Does anyone want to tackle that?
Third-party data sharing.
Right, third-party data sharing. They were, and trust me when I tell you, they're gathering your data, all right? And it turned a few people off. How many people did it turn off? 15 million? 15 billion people said, I'm done with it. You know what? Who cares? I'm not minimizing that they care that way, but if you still look at it and say, oh, well, Facebook, a lot of people are jumping off Facebook. Yeah, 15 million people jumped off Facebook. So what? I went on a diet, I lost 6 pounds. So what? Okay, it's the same thing with Facebook. If you want to think in relative terms, me losing, did I say 6 pounds? 6 ounces. Me losing 6 ounces is the same as Facebook losing 15 million people. All right, it's a big so what. It didn't really affect what they're doing. So Facebook, it's great because you can advertise and you can target. You can say, I want to look for people at this age that live in this kind of neighborhood, that make this much income, drive this kind of car, have this type of hobbies, and I can target and market those people specifically. It's easy to drive traffic to website or blog. What's one thing you need to keep in mind when you're talking about Facebook marketing? Why do you go to Facebook? Social? What did you say? I'm sorry. It's where the money is. Great. I love that one. But you personally at home, why are you going to Facebook? I want to see what other people say. I want to see what my nieces and nephews are doing. More than anything else, what do I want to be? I want to be like everyone else, and I want to be entertained. I want to be educated. I want entertainment. I'm not going there necessarily to buy something, but while I'm there looking around, if you engage me and you make something interesting, I'm paying attention and I may start to follow that. So don't look at it as, well, Facebook never sold me anything. That's not its job. The job is to entertain, to engage, to entice people to start to look at you. If your goals are wrong, you're never going to be happy with the outcome. And again, Facebook's job is not to sell necessarily. If you sell, great. Its job is to entertain, to engage, to bring people into your circle. Okay? Cons. It's got to be pay to play now. The days of just being on Facebook, the days of promotion, the days of advertising are coming to an end. Why? It's where the money is. All right? It's where the money's going to stay. It's pay to play now. And that's okay, though. With a mild investment, you can turn it into great engagement, a great way to draw people into your universe. It's time consuming to manage. You've got to know what you're doing to manage it. You've got to invest time in it. And there's lots of rule and algorithm changes. If you were an expert 3 months ago, are you an expert today? No way. Will you be an expert 3 months from now? Not if you don't stay on top of it. It's constantly evolving, constantly changing, and we need to keep getting better to be better than who? Competition. Let them sleep. We're going to keep working. We're going to get better. YouTube. How much do you love YouTube, Chip? What's on YouTube? Videos. Okay? Active users. 1.9 billion people use YouTube every month. It's overall, it's balanced ages, balanced genders. It's skewed based on the category because it's based on, hi, Amanda, I'm not going to point out that you're coming in late, but please come in. Okay. No. Sit down here by me. I know. Well, I love Amanda. Good to have you. Demographics, it's balanced and it skews based on the category. People look at different videos for different things. Only 9% of businesses use video properly. That means that there's, how smart is Chris? That means that there's 91% that doesn't use video properly. You talk about an awesome opportunity. What's so impactful about video? People engage. People pay attention. People want to be informed. People look at videos and they'll stay engaged in them. If you are not using video, it is a golden opportunity for you to introduce some videos. You don't have to spend a fortune. You don't have to spend a fortune to do it, and give yourself a little bit of an edge. Okay? And YouTube is the best place to do them, in my opinion. Obviously, have one on your website, but get yourself a YouTube channel as well. Pros: long attention span. Even people like me can watch up to 40 minutes. Okay? It's great for SEO. SEO, ranking factors love video because people love video. And there's a lot less competition. It is not a crowded market for video. I'll do one plug for Chip. Chip has a great video production company. Anyone who needs videos, look him up. He's a good man. He does good work. Not weddings. We don't want to do that. Right. You're on your own for weddings. Cons: video production takes on a lot of time and resources. You do have limited control over ads and suggested content on video. So you're giving away a little concern, but trust me when I tell you it's impactful. Instagram. Active users, only 1 billion. Demographics, mostly female. It's dominated by 18 to 34-year-olds. It's great for B2C. It's brands with high impact. It's travel, fashion, beauty, food and beverage, health and wellness. It's visual, okay? Pros, fastest growing platforms, loyal communities, high activity and engagement. And cons, no clickable links in unpaid posts. So again, pay to play, and limited demographic reach. It is for females. It is for that 18 to 34-year-old younger demographic. If that's your market, it's a great platform. Twitter, monthly active users, 326 million. 50-50 male and female. Here's the thing, and I didn't know this about Twitter. 79% of users are outside the U.S. So it's popular all across the world. Most users are outside the U.S. Pros: great customer service. It's direct, personal conversations, and you're getting the voice right from the owner. I know like a lot of celebrities use it. People follow them there. Again, great if that's your market, if that's what you're looking for. And cons: it's time sensitive. It gets buried in a hurry. And negative feedback and criticism goes a long way. I mentioned James Charles. James Charles is the makeup person. James Charles got buried on social media as well. He did a couple things that were suspect. And one of the great things about being someone who has a big following and you're a brand evangelist, people will love you. One of the negative aspects of it is what? Oh, if you disappoint them, they will hate you. They will hate you, and you will fall off the face of authority quickly. And the good news is people have a short attention span. You can make a comeback. Bad news is they'll hate you quickly. Okay, and shrinking base in the U.S. LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a mere 303 million. It's one of the smaller social media platforms. But who are those 303 million people? Businesses. Business professionals. People like us. How many people in here are using LinkedIn? Great. How many people use it well? Good. I'm going to say I am because Danielle keeps track of mine. So, if you, again, another takeaway, if you do nothing else, work on your LinkedIn. Work on your LinkedIn for an hour a week. It'll make a huge difference. Deb, you agree with that? Probably one of the first things you tell your people when you're training. If you spend an hour a week working on your LinkedIn, update your profile, make sure it works. Make sure you have in there things that you want to be known for. Make sure you optimize it a little bit. Share some posts, follow some people, join some groups. Just doing several little things make a big difference because lots of people are using LinkedIn. They're definitely the people you want to talk to. And how many people do it well? Not very many. Just do a little bit better than the competition. It makes a big edge. So LinkedIn, 56% male, 44% female, split down the middle. Lots of college graduates. And again, believe it or not, 70% of all the users are outside the U.S. If you're looking at international connections, international business, local connections, local business, national, it's a great way to connect with people. Who's it good for? B2B, B2C, a lot of recruiting. We're doing some recruiting strategies for company using LinkedIn. It's good for the financial sector, looking for employment, technology, legal, manufacturing, marketing, education, and professional services. How many people fit in that realm with what they do? A good amount. Pros, you're talking to business professionals. You can target decision makers by title. You can publish a lot of business content, and we'll talk more as we go. It's expensive in ads. It's kind of a clunky ad platform. It's not like Facebook trying to use it. And there's lots of spam and fake profiles. And people are a lot more willing and will cut you off a lot more quickly. Do you know what I mean by that? It's another way of saying quickly. People will cut you off quickly if you're spamming them or if they think you're not and you're looking out for them. So beware. Other social media platforms, Google My Business. How many people use Google My Business? How many people are a brick and mortar location where you rely on people coming to your business? If you're that business and you're not using Google My Business effectively, powerfully, to the best of your ability, you're missing the boat. Google My Business is a big deal. Google My Business will help with traffic. Google My Business will help with people finding you. And one of the reasons that we say Google My Business is so powerful, it's owned by whom? And who does Google love above all else? Themselves. Google loves Google more than they love anything else. So Google gets attention. Google My Business gets attention from Google. Also, Pinterest, Snapchat, Reddit, Yelp, Foursquare, all good platforms. It's a question of just what's better for you based on what you're looking to do, based on what your market is. Here's an example. Does everyone know Lanchester Grill? That's Sam. Anyone in here know Sam? This is an example of a good use of social media. Sam has been doing some open houses every year for years. He does them. When is the time of year for those, Dawn? Sorry, I caught you napping.
No, sorry. The grill and then is in May.
So,
He has two open houses, actually.
so,
The open house the first weekend of May.
so first weekend in May, and he's been trying to get people going, and he put out yard signs. He'd let people know with flyers. We started doing social media platforms for Sam where we're doing videos from Sam with him at the grill working hard away, and he's talking about how he's got his open house on such and such date, and come on by, I'm going to personally make you a hot dog. It's going to be great. Bring the kids. We're going to do face painting and have a bounce house. And Sam increased his, I won't go into exact statistics because they mean nothing, but Sam got hundreds of more people to attend his open house than he ever had before. So did he use social media to sell something? No. But did he get hundreds of more people to his open house? Yes. And what happened at the open house? People that were there bought grills. Whether they bought them that day or whether they bought them a couple months from now, he used this tool to draw people in to get them there. So good strategy. His strategy wasn't, how am I going to use social media to sell a grill? His strategy was, how do I use social media to get more people to my open house so that I can sell more grills? Okay. LinkedIn. This funny looking guy up here is Chris DeMeo. Okay. Here is an example of rules of thirds. And I know this is done well because Danielle makes sure it's done well. Okay. Rules of third is there are certain things we do that are more engagement, certain things we do that are promotion, certain things we do to just show authority. An example. This is 20 things successful people do every week. And here's a picture of me at my keyboard getting excited about things. And, you know, we send this out to people and we got a lot of good comments back. And I wish Jay Worth was here. Jay is with Tomlinson Baumberger. Jay and I kind of know each other through social media. He and I are meeting in a couple weeks to talk about their website. Again, did I try and sell Jay a website on social media? No, but I started engaging with Jay. We started commenting back and forth. I started supplying him with some information he could use. So it helped us form a relationship, okay? One of the best ones we ever did was, and it's hard to read, I'm sure. This is the 50 best Michael Scott quotes and questions. Does everyone know who Michael Scott is? He's from The Office. And Michael Scott is a little bit of my alter ego. It was just whimsical, funny, goofy, has really no true business acumen. But I got, how many people replied to this or sent me comments, Danielle? 70, 80, 100, something like that. People just said stuff like, you know what? I was having a rough day. Thank you. You know what? Here's my favorite quote. And then that would lead to something else. And it was just, again, it wasn't Chris was trying to sell something. It's Chris is just saying, hey, listen, sometimes in business, we take ourselves way too seriously. And sometimes we forget to just stop for a minute and laugh and just enjoy the good things in life and take a moment and just enjoy simple pleasures. And that's what that was all about. And we got tons of engagements. And people saw this that had never met me before, had never shared with me before, and it opened up some conversations. And lastly, don't always promote yourself. Always talk about how you can help other people. This is where we did a promotion where we launched a new website for our good friend David with Blessings of Hope, where we talked about his organization, his mission, all the good things he's doing. It can't be veiled where I'm always talking about myself, like, here's all the great things I did for this organization. It's, here's all the great things this organization is doing. Well, it's true. Here's all the great things this organization is doing, and I'm proud to be part of it in any way that I can. Okay? Okay, so content. A lot of people have asked, well, Chris, the hardest part is knowing what to post. Has anyone ever had that? We'll give you an outline of this. We can talk about it, but looking at content specifically, content that works. Let's talk about what works first. Curated content. Things like news articles, blogs that you've done, or blogs that other people have done that are relevant, infographics, podcasts. One of the things, too, I want to be clear about. Original content is great. Original content should be used. But is original content paramount? Must you have original content? No. It's okay for you to share other industry advice, other industry podcasts, other industry content, because who was it that still brought it to people? You did. So be smart enough to know you don't know everything, and remember that you're a resource that help these people find what they were looking for. David.
What's the statistics on people following your business versus people following your personal?
That's a great question, and I'm not sure I know that. I'd say my wimpy answer is it depends on the person, depends on the business. In some cases, the business is the person. Give you an example, prime example. Bill, may I use you? Bill Stratton is a business coach. He is an EOS coach. So while EOS is the discipline that he uses, what are people really buying when they hire Bill's company. They're buying Bill. They're buying Bill's knowledge, Bill's expertise, his business acumen, his years of experience. Okay? So with him, I'd say it's all about him because he is the product. When we're talking about, when you talk about Spooky Nook, although Jonathan Snavely is a force of nature, all right, although he is someone to be reckoned with, when he's doing social media, it's not so much about what's Jonathan Snavely going to do for me, because he's probably not going to play me in volleyball. He's not going to get on my team for basketball. He's not going to train me in the gym. So with him, it's more about Spooky Nook. So was that just something that was well-defining, or did something attack you? I won't point that out, Steve. But so I'm not sure I answered your question. So it depends on the business and depends on the person. In many cases, the person is the business. In other cases, the person is just there to help promote, draw in the business. But the person is still the one that brought the knowledge to the table. The person is still the subject matter expert about that business. Does that make sense? Okay. Good question. Yes.
At this point, I'm always encouraging the rest of my staff when our company shares something, just promote it, like to share it on your network too. Because even if they don't follow us as a company, you know a lot of people already. So that's just like extends it.
Great point. Thank you for bringing that up. And did everyone hear that? Anytime you're doing something for your company, ask people in your company, if they feel inclined, share it on their individual pages, share it on their hobby pages, share it, their church group, their individual groups. Yeah, huge. And it's already then coming from a trusted source. So you gave it to someone, they trusted you enough to share it, and the people they're sharing with trusted that person enough to accept the information. So great point, and that's how things do grow exponentially. So great, thank you for bringing that up. Also, what works? Being interactive. Again, what are we trying to do? We're trying to engage people, okay? Interactive, do polls, do quizzes, do Q&A, do things that make people come back and respond on your social media site. Do things that make people engage with you and ask for more. It should be about what? We started off by saying social media is a way to market through conversation, engagement, give and take. Also, user-generated contests, captions, user photos. We do a social media campaign for CVCA. They're Cardiac Veterinarian Associates, something like that. They're cardiac veterinarians for dogs. Like they are the people that you get called when the regular vet can't handle it. And we did some campaigns for them, not just about the horrible things that happened to dog, but we had like a cutest dog contest. And all their different patients and all their different people who had dogs posted all these dogs and had captions, and this is great. We got tons and tons of engagement, tons and tons of followers, because who doesn't love dogs? Anybody? Just checking. All right. Visual. Photos, animated, GIFs. Sorry. I got in trouble last time. I didn't say it. My kids got in my head. When I was saying it, they're going to say, "You're going to say GIF, Dad." And I'll say, "No, I know it's GIF." And they kept saying it. And then I came in and I blew it. So almost did it again. It's in my head. It's got me psyched out. Okay. Stories, live videos, shareable quotes. Be educational. Supply ebooks, supply guides, supply calendars. Supply things like content calendars for engagement, as an example. Things like that help bring people back. Share knowledge. Give people things. Okay? You have a right to try and engage a little bit if you've given someone something that was valuable to them, something that helped make their lives a little better, easier, more enjoyable. And ads. It's okay to do advertising. Remember what we said, after you engage people, after you've earned their trust, after you've earned their right, do ads. But remember, what's the purpose of marketing? Purpose of sales, ideally? To solve a problem, make something better. Don't get away from that. What doesn't work? Look at me, buy my stuff, you should buy this, we're the greatest. This is what we do, it's me, 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 me. No, and you can't have it veiled, meaning, well, that's enough talking about me, let's talk about you. What do you like about me, right? It can't be that, okay? It has to be that you're genuinely offering things that are valuable to people, things they pay attention to. Why? Because people are inundated with how many asks to buy every day? How many ads are you bombarded with every day? How many people are trying to sell you something every minute of the day? And why do you really go to social media? To do what? Yeah, to be informed, to be educated, to be entertained, not so somebody can try and sell you something. You can do it to a point, but make sure it's something that solves a problem. If I'm interested, if I'm engaged, I'm going to pay attention. I bought a car recently, and just by doing a little searching, I was inundated through social media and different retargeting, and I was okay with that. Why? I was shopping. I was genuinely interested in buying a car. And the people that let me buy instead of the people that tried to sell me were the people that won. One of the things, too, when we talk about content, make sure it's relevant. People ask about this all the time. Well, what's relevant, Chris? What does that mean? Relevant is the land between what you want to say and what people are interested in. And what was the first thing we talked about was social media. What should you be doing? Listening. You've got 2 ears, you've got 1 mouth, use them proportionately. Listen. If you find out what people are interested in, and then craft your meaning and look, and here's what I have to say about that, here's how I can help, make sure you craft the right message so that you're showing people, look, I understand what you're going through. I can help solve your problem. The land between those two things with what you can do to help and what people are interested in, that's relevant. And as long as you're relevant, you have a right to engage these people. And what you don't want to do too, don't just post for the sake of posting. I get people with that one every time. Right? Don't just post for the sake of posting. Make sure you've got something relevant to say. And if it's relevant, you can post often. If it's not relevant, actually it doesn't matter. Keep posting. No one's paying attention anyway. One of the things too, be consistent. People ask, how often should I do it? And my quick answer and my honest answer and my best answer is, as long as you've got something good to say. If you've got something good to say, keep posting. There's nothing wrong with posting something really impactful infrequently. Just so when you are, just be consistent, but when you are posting, you've really got something to say. And Content Calendar helps with that. We do have one available to you. As an example, you use whatever one you want, but we figure, let's get you started. Let's use this one until you get something better. And Facebook. You want to post 1 to 2 posts a day. Okay, again, as long as you've got something relevant. Instagram, 1 to 2 posts a day. Twitter, 10 tweets a day, because what happens with Twitter? Those are, celebrities do that love to talk about themselves. And I'm being, yes, I am being judgmental, sorry. LinkedIn, every other day. Business people don't want to hear from you that much. If you're doing it, great. And then YouTube, 1 a week, 1 a month, because again, it's video, it's higher impact. Here's the thing. Do you have to do it this way? No. And if you're doing none, what would be a vast marked improvement? Yeah, start with 1. Do one thing right, do one thing well, and you'll be that much further ahead of where you are now. If you start with, I'm going to do something on Facebook, and I'm going to do something, and I'm saying 1, then I go to 2. I'm going to do something on LinkedIn, and I'm going to post once a week. And I'm not even going to write a lot of my own individual content or my own unique content. I'm going to just share something that I think is relevant. That's a huge improvement over what you're doing now. Do that one thing. Yes?
Is it helpful? I mean, I find myself repeating in all the platforms. Is that...
That's absolutely fine. The question was, she finds herself repeating, meaning that what you put on Facebook, you put on your website, you put, yes, okay? There's nothing wrong with that, and it's a good way to get it out there because you don't know who's going to respond to what message on what platform. So I'll say that's a great example of don't let great be the enemy of good. We'll talk about too, you should craft the message for the platform. But if it's close enough and the platforms are close and they intersect with your market, that's absolutely fine. Depends how crazy you want to get. Can you craft the message a little bit? Can you tweak it a little bit? Sure. But you know what? You're doing a good job by getting it out there. Keep doing that. Other questions? Yes?
Would you do the same message in all platforms at the same time? Or would you do a campaign over here on Facebook and then one in LinkedIn and one over here and then just rotate them?
The answer is yes. If it works for you to get everything done at one time because that's how the schedule's set up, and if I don't do it, it's not going to get done, then I'd say do it that way. If you can put it on the content calendar and you know day 1 it's this, day 2 it's this, day 3 it's this, and then you circle back around, that's great. But again, I'd say make sure it gets done first, then fine tune it after that. Yes?
What do you use, or would you recommend to schedule those things so that they automatically go out?
Melissa? No. We're going to talk about that in a minute. There are some platforms you can use to do that, and it's actually in another slide or two, so great question. And there are some platforms that will help you that are free. There are other platforms you've got to pay for. So it just depends on, again, what's important, what's available to you, the budget looks like. The first one comes to mind, something like Hootsuite, that just takes care of that for you. So if it's in the budget to do it that way, best way to do it, because then it never gets forgotten. But there's lots of ways to do it. Not everyone has a Melissa. All right, everyone should get one, but not everyone has one. Okay. Be visual. Just FYI, this is my dog Norman. So that's an actual picture, and my dog Norman died in July shortly after we shot all this. So good old dog. He's on to a better place. But anyway, but visual. People love, sorry, I had a sad moment. I forgot about this slide, and then I went to it and going, oh gosh, this is. People love visual content, okay? Visual makes people pay attention. Visual makes people take notice. Visual breaks the monotony of a guy like me talking, okay? People love visual content, and company posts with images earn 87% of all engagements. 87% of all things posted with video or with a picture with visual earn engagements. So what kind of post should you post? Yeah. If the competition's doing everything except that, and that's the one thing you add, that gives you an edge. If you want to change one thing about what you've been doing and you haven't been doing visual, what should you do? Visual works. It can also enforce your branding. Again, we talked about who do you want to be, what are you looking for, what kind of tone do you want to set. That's a tone of we're smart dogs, okay? What visual can help your branding? That can, yes?
Where do you recommend getting visuals?
Great question. I'll say that you should get the best quality you can afford to get. This is just a picture on my smartphone, and then Kelly cleaned it up. So it doesn't have to be super fancy, and I say the best you can get. If you can pay for photography to be done, great. If you buy stock photography, great. If you're snapping things on your cell phones, great. You can always clean them up and shrink it down. Photoshop and different tools work fantastic nowadays. So the best you can do. Same advice I'd give you if you asked me about a website. Get the best one you can afford. Whether that's through Wix or a private company or you spend millions, whatever you can afford. Same thing with photography. And I'll say this too, don't skimp on photography. Get the best you can do. Thank you. Or we can ask Kelly. So, yeah. Thank you. Good. Appreciate that.
Do you recommend, on the visual, do you recommend mixing it up for variety or maintaining a consistent visual message for the brand recognition?
Great question. It should definitely be speak your brand, but you can vary it just a little bit based on campaigns. So you should know who that is. Like when it's a little snarky and it has those colors, it's Wendy's. It should definitely be speak your brand. Everything you do, we're big fans, obviously, of brand consistency, brand identity. We're big fans of brand policing. Make sure everyone knows who you are and be true to who you are and what you do. If you're showing pictures of landscapes and sunsets all the time, and then one day you throw in a cat, it may not look like you. So, fair question. And be human. Be honest, be authentic, tell stories, focus on relationships first, build loyalty. Again, what should social media be about? Conversation. Who do you want to have a conversation with? Someone who's interesting, someone who's caring, someone who's concerned, not someone who's boring, not someone who's self-centered, not someone who's all about them. Have a conversation with people you relate to. Have a conversation with someone who you feel has got your best interest at heart. Here's an example of social media. This is one of our clients, Tangles. What do you think Tangles does? Hair. Their social media posts are not about how great they are and how they went to school to learn about chemicals and cutting hair. They talk about how they make people look great. They talk about how when people leave their shop, they feel good about themselves. They talk about how someone is out, they're going on their first date or date night with their husband after having a baby, and how they felt like $1 million walking out the door. And one of the things they talk about too is all the stylists in this talk about and post how great they feel helping other people. They don't talk about how much money they made or what this was. They talk about, I was so thankful to give her the date night she deserved. I was so thankful that she was really confident going in that job interview. I was so thankful that I was able to help her with the best look she's had in years. Those are the things that they talk about. Those are the things that they post. And those are the things that resonate with their target audience. Who doesn't feel better after coming from the hairdresser? Everybody but me, all right? But again, those are the kind of things you want to post, and that helps with engagement. That's the conversation you want to have. How do you get people to like your page? Usually by this time, people ask, well, Chris, how do we get people to engage? How do we get people to like? What's the best first answer on that? How do you get people to like your pages? Have a good page, great. What? Say again? Send them a question, good. Engage. What else? Ask them. Exactly. Ask them. People will probably like it if you ask them. But they may not know that you're looking for that. They may not know that it's important to you to do that. Ask them. They might just like it. Melissa? Say again? I'm sure you do. You better check. All right, we better check it. Danielle, put a like button on her. So, yeah, I'm sure you do. Okay. And again, it has to be in the right place. So, have a complete business page. Invite existing customers and employees to like your page. Don't underestimate your employees liking the page too. Don't underestimate them asking friends and family and groups and church members and everything else to like your page too. It gets the ball rolling. Add like buttons to your website. All right, very important, should have those. Blog, emails, etc. And above all else, post good content. Give people a reason to like you. You can't just say, hey, do you like me? Will you like me? Do something to be likable. Do something to draw people in. Do something to be worthy of a great page. And then you can run ads. We actually do this for clients. We run ads to get people to like pages. And amazingly, guess what people do when we do like page ads? They like pages. Imagine that. Okay. Now, running the campaign. How am I on time? I'm okay. Okay. Number one. Okay, so we've got everything there. How do we put it together? 50,000-foot view on this. Number one. Focus on your strategy. Start a campaign with a strategy. Don't start a campaign by doing, start a campaign by thinking. Okay? Step one, ask yourself, will this accomplish my overall goals? Is what I'm looking to put in place what I'm looking to get out of? How does this serve my audience? Okay? What's more important than your goals? Yeah, theirs. Making sure you understand theirs. Steve, I'm going to ask you this. How do you get what you want out of life? By giving other people what they want out of life. Okay? Start there. What is it that my clients are looking for? What problems do I solve? How do I help people? Then build a campaign around how you help them. How do you help them help themselves or find what they're looking for? And how will this stand out from my competition? What's the competition doing? What are we going to do better? How do we show the audience that we understand more? How do we show the audience that we get what they're saying? How do we show the audience that we can be the ones that help them? And always start with a message that covers a big idea. Okay? What's the idea? What am I trying to convey? Is this relevant? Is this obvious in all the things that I'm doing? Craft a message that fits with your overall strategy. Make sure, ask yourself. Kelly always talks about the sniff test, the so what test. Ask yourself, so what? Does this help solve the problem? Because I guarantee you, who's asking that so what question? The clients, the customers, the prospects. And the answer is either so what, and I didn't get satisfied and I gloss over it, or so what, and here it is. Yep, these are the right people. These are the people I want to talk to. These are the guys that can probably sell me my car. Also, build your content calendar. I don't know if I've said this before, but you should have a content calendar. We feel it's important. It's one of the most important things you can do. And when you talk about a content calendar, what channels are you going to use? You had said, is it okay to use different platforms? Great. Make sure you know. Content calendar, I'm going to do this on Facebook. I'm doing this on LinkedIn. I'm doing this on Instagram. And I'm going to run this article or post this on this date. This is going to go out on this date. Having a content calendar helps keep that in place. What content are you going to run? How often are you going to run it? And then when? When am I going to put it together? Because if you don't choose the when, what will happen? Yeah. It becomes someday. That's exactly right. The when becomes whenever, and whenever never happens. Why? Because what do you always have to do? Something more important than whatever it is you're doing now. But if you put it on a calendar, commit to it, and if you can get automation of it, that's even better. If you can get a company to do it or a person to do it, that's best. It's just done. You don't have to think about it. Then you're putting your time, effort, and energy into the right content for the right market with the right message. Then we deliver it on time. Okay? And pro tips, customize for each channel. So to come back to what you said before, in a perfect world, you would customize each content for each channel. If you can. Consistency is key. Make sure you get everything out there and make sure you post regularly and often. Otherwise, what are people going to think? They still in business? They still out there? What do they not like me all of a sudden? People are just a little paranoid, okay? Check insights, meaning these are the analytic tools available through social media. See what you're doing. Who's looking at it? Who was unique? Where did they come from? How long were they there? Did they share it? Did they open it? Did they ignore it? Use analytics. And remember, when you're putting together your content calendar, ask yourself, am I following the rule of thirds? If I'm looking at 50 posts for the month, how many sit in this category? How many in this category? How many in this category? Do I need to adjust things? Again, social media rule of thirds. 1/3 is sharing. And sharing is resources, tips, industry news. 1/3 is interaction. This is where you want to engage with your audience. And 1/3 is promotion. And this is where it's okay to talk about your goods, your services, what you offer, how you make the world a better place, things like that. The intersection of all these things when you're doing it properly is a good balanced message that people are interested in hearing. Again, we have an example of a social calendar. Just so happens we've supplied one for you. You can download our template. I think it's available in your packet, or just shoot us an email. We're happy to help you. We're happy to walk you through it if we can. Number 4, set a budget. Organic reach in social media is declining, and social media, like everything else, is becoming pay to play. All right? You've got to pay, and it's one of two ways. It's either by paying to do ads, or you're paying to boost or promote posts. You're paying to target specific audience and blast your message out that way. David?
Which one of those two is more effective?
Great question. I'm going to say it depends on your business. It depends on what the goal is. They both can be very effective. Just some businesses do better with more audience targeting. Some people do better with ads. Your business, I'd say, probably better with targeting, audience targeting. We're going for specific people that are in a giving frame of mind for your mission. So it depends. If that's a question for anyone too, afterwards, come and see me and we'll talk through that. There's a couple questions I'll ask you to help determine that. But great question. And set your targeting. Typical targeting options, meaning who are you going to go after? You can target through social media by geography. If you pick specific geographic areas, gender, and that's becoming a little muddy depending on the type of audience you're targeting. In some places that's considered discrimination, targeting men versus women, but depends on what you're doing. Age, company, industries you're going after, interests. So you can look at hobbies, activities, things people are interested in. Lookalike audiences, meaning that if your target audience are people that live in Manheim Township and are, live in a home about $400,000 and like soccer, maybe it would be good to target people that live in Hempfield Township that fit the same bill. So there's ways you can look at if this audience likes me, and I have every reason to believe they do, an audience that has the same type of demographic over here may be a good fit for me as well. Yes.
So I guess I just don't understand how you would target. So let's say we use a company like EZMarketing to do our social media.
As an example.
As an example, and maybe you don't have a lot of clients that are in the laboratory industry, so then you have to do your own education. So there has to be some sort of collaboration with someone helping you as a company, I would imagine, consistently to do content that's relevant that you're not familiar with, for instance.
Yep.
But if we were to do it on our own,
Right.
then how do you, like, I assume a lot of this stuff is public knowledge, or
Yes.
you can find it in analytics, right?
Yes, you can go right in, like as an example, if you were to do Facebook, you could go right into Facebook, and what's their platform called, Kelly, where you go in and?
It's just Facebook Ad Manager.
Facebook Ad Manager, and they have, if you want to do targeting or you want to do audience, here's a list. You can do it by demographic, you can do it by age, you can do it by zip code, you can do it by interest, and you would just go and check all the different boxes. It would give you how many people are inside that area, and then whether or not you want to push it and what the cost would be to do that.
Okay, but then, so whatever you're posting, then it does its job to get it in front of it.
It does its job to go to that similar audience. Yep. So you can do it on your own, or you can have someone do it and then track it and fine tune it and things like that. But you certainly can do it on your own. Not as well as, no, I'm kidding. But yeah, it certainly can. And it's right in through Facebook.
I
None
don't
of,
know if we have to do, like,
Yeah.
hashtag such and such, and then
It-
you need to go find what hashtags are trending right now to even know. I just sometimes can see if I start to type in a hashtag that
Right.
will populate, it'll start showing me other ones
Yes.
that I use, and I'll try to pick one that has
Yeah.
like something K next to it.
Yep.
'cause
That's intuitive or an intuitive or suggested marketing tactic through Facebook, and that will help walk you through that too. Facebook's trying to make it easier and easier for you to do that. Why? Because if they make it easy, what are you going to do next? I'm going to buy it. Yeah, I'm going to get my credit card out. I know how to do that. I do it every day. So you can certainly do it, and there's ways to do it, and with a little bit of education, it can go a long way. So if you have the time, energy, and resources, you can certainly do that on your own. If you don't, you can hire someone to do it. One isn't right, one isn't wrong. It's a question of what's better for you guys. Okay, good, good.
If you had a special password to get it and get all.
Whoever set up your Facebook has that password and has the access codes to get in there.
No, I meant to get
Oh, no.
demographic or the analytics.
Nope, that's available to you. That's available to you. Okay. And then lookalike audience and retargeting web visitors, meaning if they've been there before, we install a little cookie, we can get them back. I'll click myself. And lastly, measure and improve. Okay? Whatever you're doing in marketing, track. Whatever you're doing, there's great analytic tools. Many of them are free. Okay? So which channels generate the most traffic or conversions? Which posts are performing the best? Dig into your analytics to find patterns. We're big fans of split testing. We offered this message for here and this message here. Which ones did better? How many more got opened? How many people shared this? Use your analytics to continue to improve. What we like to say is when we talk to clients, we say 4 things every month when we meet with them. This is what we did, hence this is the campaign. This is why we did it. There has to be logic behind it. This was the result, and then based on these things, this is what we're going to continue to do going forward. You don't always get it perfect the first time. And if you did or you get it good, keep doing what you did right. And then if you didn't, what are we going to do to improve that? Okay, so those are the things. Always look at your analytics and continue to improve. Here's an example of Homestead Village social media campaign. Their goal was not to sell homes on social media. Their goal was to drive people to their open house. Okay, and this is an example of analytics with a campaign. We had a reach of 53,000 people. The impressions were 165,000 people. Does everyone know the difference between a reach and an impression? Anybody want to take a stab?
Reach is unique people, and impressions is the time it was seen.
Bingo. Reach is unique people. Impressions is the time is seen. Meaning, if I'm one person and you send me an ad, the reach is 1. If I see an ad 5 times from you, my impressions are 5. Okay, so it's how many people you're going for uniquely, then how many times they see it. And as a rule, how many impressions do people need to react? 3? 7? Depends on what it is. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 5. I think on average it's 5. People need 5 impressions, especially nowadays because people are just immune, people are numb. We had 8,000 web visitors. It cost us 33 cents per click, so what we did, we set an ad budget for them, or a spend budget with it, and said we're going to put $500 into this, and however many people see it, how many ever people click on it, when $500 is gone, it's gone. We're going to stop doing that. Then the question is, do we want to keep doing it because it was great, or do we want to just say, well, we got our money's worth and life's good? Bless you. And 24 people were conversions. So of this campaign, 24 people a conversion was, I came and took a tour because I'm 62 years old and I'm looking to buy a house in your community. That's pretty good odds. Of the 24 people that actually came to it, I think their average is if they get 10 people in the door, they get one of them under contract. Okay, so pretty good use of money. Analytics. Again, quickly, when you talk about analytics and what to measure, you want to measure awareness, engagement, customer service, and ultimately conversion. Awareness is number of impressions. Reach, how many followers did you create? Engagement is likes, so someone actually engaged and clicked like. They commented on it, they shared it with someone else, and it was web traffic through social, meaning they went from there onto your website. Customer services, you handled customer inquiries, you looked at reviews, and you look at how many people are retained or stayed with you during a certain period of time. And then conversions, meaning they clicked through to your website, they filled out a form like, hey, contact me, or they did some type of content download. You offered them a free tool, some kind of a content calendar, something like that. Did you have a question? Go ahead. Oh, good. Do you need help, or are you okay? All right, good. Thank God. Analytic tools. Look at platform-specific tools like Facebook Insights, LinkedIn Analytics, different ones, and then Google Analytics has great tools. There's also, when we break it down, there's free and there's paid. The free ones are Facebook Insights, LinkedIn Analytics, Google Analytics. The paid tools to do this for analytics and automation, Hootsuite, Sprout Social. Any others, Kelly, you recommend? Or they're the biggies. Okay. So look at those. And it can be free, it can be paid. One isn't right, one isn't wrong. What's better for you? Here's an example of Melhorn Manor. And with them, here's just a very brief overview of a campaign. Step 1 is we created a separate campaign for each message. And the message was, number 1 is we want to sell weddings. Number 2 is we want to get people to come to a banquet, okay? So create a campaign for each message, create a landing page or some type of trackable call to action so that we know who's coming there specifically from the campaign we ran. And number 3, evaluate and improve. This is an example of when the campaign started, when it ended, and we ran 3 separate ones. What can you tell me by looking at that? What do you think happened? There is a very clear start date to the campaign, and there is a very clear end date to the campaign. And what happens is when you get to a point where the campaign starts to drop off in efficiency or engagement, what should you do? Let's do something else. Let's start it up. Why? Things have a life cycle. People have an attention cycle, and especially when you're talking about weddings, is everybody looking at weddings? Who's looking at weddings? Engage people. So after a while, been there, done that, it's time to start something else to engage them, to try and get them in the game. Try and get them to call, fill out a form, walk in the door, something to get them to the next step. Coming in the home stretch here. People ask about the future of social, okay? Take a look first where we are now. Right now, it's pay to play, okay? more and more, if you want to engage people on social media, you've got to pay. And it either has to be through ads, it has to be through posts, it has to be through targeting. Okay, and I don't see that stopping. Because once you can start to charge for something, how difficult is it to now go back and say, well, I'm not going to charge you for it anymore? People are willing to pay, so they're going to continue to offer that. Video. Video is here now. In my opinion, video is here to stay. If you are using video, great. Take a look and see, can I use it more effectively? Is there a way I can be a little bit better at it? If you're not using video, what would make that better? Start. Use video, okay, because it's impactful. 9% of businesses use video. That's 91% that don't. You want to talk about a competitive edge, you want to talk about doing one or two things to help, that's a big deal. And it doesn't have to be the world's greatest video. Use a video. Don't let great be the enemy of good, okay? AI. More and more robots, more and more artificial intelligence influence anything. Was anyone at the EZMarketing conference this week? You and I? One of the things that they talked about was, how do you predict the future? A lot of it is watch Facebook, watch Google, see what they're investing in. Because what these guys are investing in is probably what they're going to be doing in the future. Steve, do you remember, were you at that one with, was Oliver Feekins?
I'm not going to that breakout now.
Okay, I went to, and it was about the future of social. What he talked about was the biggest investments that Google and Facebook are both making, it's on AI and specifically voice search. Because we are very soon, and we're there close right now, people are going to be either too lazy, too well informed, too conditioned to even use their keyboards after a while for search. How many of us are guilty of it now? Who uses voice search right now? And I got my new car. I have Bluetooth in my car. I hook it up so like it reads me my emails. I think I'm the coolest guy ever. I'm still a dork, but I feel like I'm cool. But more and more people are investing in AI, and people are investing in voice. And even more important than just voice, it's conversational voice. So it's not, hey Siri, I'll probably set off phones. I won't say that. Hey, Chris,
Sorry.
So it's not restaurant Lancaster, 7th Street, 9 a.m. It's, hey, help me find a restaurant in the local area. Or, hey, I need to get to 42 Elm Street. Or Avenger movie tickets. So it's more conversational. It's more intuitive. All right, so I jumped a little bit on the slide, but more and more you're going to see that. It's using messengers, chat, and it's about being authentic in all the messaging. And again, I kind of rolled two slides together. Sorry, Kelly. Okay, the future, you want to double down on storytelling. Again, tell a story, make it interesting, make it unique. Don't be boring. Don't be pitchy. Don't be salesy. Be engaging, be interesting, be authentic. Let people see your heart. Don't be afraid to let people know who you are and what you're all about. Who do people want to do business with? People they like, people they trust, people they relate to, people that they feel like, hey, you know what? They've got my best interest at heart. That's who you want to deal with. It's no different on social media. Let people see that side of you. Niche marketing, small communities. Examples of that, again, I talked about James Charles for selling. PewDiePie, does everyone know who PewDiePie is? The most followed person on YouTube. And there's, I think there's one company that's followed more than PewDiePie, but PewDiePie, and he's a gamer. He plays Minecraft and different games, and all the kids, does anyone know who that is? I got 14-year-olds, Also, Ninja on Fortnite. It's these little niche communities that are following things, and you're going to get more and more of that where, these influencers are going to have a big impact on what we're buying, how we're influenced, what we're looking at, what we think is good and bad. And so influencer marketing rolls into that. Social commerce, meaning that you can actually do business through social media. Okay, you're going to get more and more of that. And I know I sound a little contradictory. I just said, well, you don't necessarily need to sell on it. That may not be the ultimate goal, but if you do it right and engage people, then they're not being sold. What are they doing? They're buying because they want to, because it makes sense. Because Ninja said that I should be buying my new Fortnite tools through here, okay? Or James Charles, my daughter, again, 14 years old, when James Charles announces a new launch, what time do they launch? Midnight. My daughter, oh, Dad, please, I've got to be one of the first 18,000 people, or I don't, and what am I going to say? Do you think I win that argument? Not even close, okay? But these are important, and that's what we're looking at. And then regulation, okay? We do have to remember to play within the rules because it is definitely the golden rule. And what is the golden rule? They with the gold make the rules, okay? And right now, who makes the rules? Who has the gold? Facebook, Google. So we do have to work within their framework. And again, if you were an expert 3 months ago, you're not an expert today. If you're an expert today, you're not going to be an expert 3 months from now. You've got to continuously learn, grow, adapt, pay attention to the rules, and work within that framework. So recap. Social media is about conversations. First and foremost, remember, this is a conversation you're having with someone that you're trying to engage. Always start with a deep understanding and have a strategy. Know what you're looking to do. Understand your audience. Understand your goals and objectives. And focus your channels or focus your efforts on just doing one, maybe two things right. Start with one, get it right. Then you can move on to other things. And prioritize relationships first. Earn the right to offer. Earn the right to sell. And you earn the right by providing value, by providing knowledge, by giving them things that are helpful to them. Create an organized content calendar. I don't know if I've said that one time or 72 times, but have a content calendar, have a plan, have a strategy, put it in writing. What's the difference between something that's a genuine goal and a strategy and a wish? Whether or not it's documented. Okay, that makes it come from something that I hope it gets done. I hope I do a good job. I think I'm doing okay too. Look, I know I've got this in place. I know I'm ready to go. And remember, social media is constantly evolving. You've got to evolve with it. You've got to learn. You've got to grow. You've got to be open-minded. And to your point earlier, like what would happen if you had a content calendar? You've got to be willing to adapt. You've got to be willing to pivot and change. Thank you. Any questions? Oh, thank you.